Welcome everyone. Welcome to Tech Talk Friday. And yes, you might be disappointed and worried. Is this really Nigesh? But no, it's back. I'm back. I supposedly retired from Tech Talk, but I don't know lah. It's this babysitting Karamjit thing that is wearing us all down. So Karamjit Singh, welcome back to Tech Talk Friday. I thought you guys kicked me out of the show. I thought I was happily enjoying life on a Friday night. Sipping my margaritas and other Long
Yep.
Island iced teas, and suddenly I'm back, right? But today I'm back because Nigesh has a emergency, so I'm stepping in for a bit. Only this week. And Karam, today we have some exciting guests, right? I mean, it's interesting that we have Joel and Chen Chow will be joining us, but I thought you'll be getting Anthony and Huiling to be joining us because yesterday's big announcement with Grab. First big unicorn, not
Mega,
just unicorn. I don't know what's mega unicorn. Is it what's it
mega.
called? What's bigger than a unicorn? Elephant coin or whatever.
No, no,
Uh,
Gazilicon.
okay,
In
but
deference to Godzilla.
so today I wasted like an hour of my time in the office because when in the office everyone's talking about Grab, right? And
Oh,
we're all
really? Huh?
fighting. It's like why is it valued at 40 million? Anyway, I hear a bit of an echo, Karam. So I'm gonna get you to very quickly introduce Chen Chow and Joel, our two guests for today. So Karam, talk us through who these guys are. Joel
Ayo.
Neoh and Yo Chen Chow. I don't think anybody knows who they are. They're kind of people that are under the radar, maybe not. Everyone knows Joel and Chen Chow, right? So who? Okay, tell us why they're on our show today, Karam.
So, first of all, they are depending on who you ask, they are either the dynamic duo, the deplorable duo, or the dangerous duo. Okay, take your pick. But they are well known throughout Southeast Asia. And because they have put in heart and soul right into building their startup. They're no nonsense guys. They're not flashy. You get investor money, they don't invest it on themselves, or go to parties and all that. If there are any two fellas who are totally devoted to their craft, it's these two duo, right? And that's why on a personal level, I think the fact that they couldn't make Fave work, okay, as we were all willing them on and hoping them on, is a real shocker. But also then I was sharing on LinkedIn that my key takeaway from this, when I look back at everything, I've all my conversations with them and articles, is really, Roshan, it is bloody friggin' difficult to build a unicorn in Southeast Asia, and maybe even just build a successful, internet company in Southeast Asia. And it's ironic to say this in the shadow of Grab making its announcement, right? But Grab is like an extreme outlier. Okay, maybe they were there at the right time, with Uber making waves, and people thought, why not? Uber is only focused on the US. They made that clear for a long time. And these guys say, hey, when Uber is ready, these guys are here. Maybe they'll be positioned to buy them out. And by the way, one of the companies that followed in the wake of KFIT closing down, which is a Hong Kong-based company called Guava Pass. I was going to call it Gecko Pass, but I'm not. A Guava Pass. They came into the space, the same thing that Chen Chow and Joel were doing, and then they got bought out in 2019 by ClassPass, from the US. So some people are saying, hey, they should have kept with it and stayed with KFIT or whatever. I don't know. So for those
Okay.
listening, Joel and Chen Chow don't know whether we're going to talk about, KFIT and all. So because this just came about just now, as people know, we're going to bring them on. You start hearing things, right? Yeah.
And I see
Right.
Joel smirking at the background there.
No,
Well,
he's itching.
let,
He's itching to jump onto the show.
there you go. So let's just bring our two guests, Yo Chen Chow, co-founder of Fave, and Joel Neoh. Welcome to the show, guys. Always glad to have exciting people. Sometimes Karam's a bit boring. His voice is monotonous and everything. So it's good to have people like you guys, so vibrant and young and energetic and balding like me. At least Chen Chow is. So, guys, tell us a bit about what's just happened. I mean, it's amazing, right? I mean, Pine Labs have closed the deal. I think it's official. I've read about it. I've congratulated Chen Chow on it, and and tell us a bit about it. I mean, Joel, you wanna kick us off by telling us a bit about that story?
No, no, thanks so much, Roshan, for coming out of retirement to celebrate this with us. So we got everything signed up, early, 2 days ago. So essentially, we closed the deal with Pine Labs, acquiring Fave. So they are one of the most respectable and top fintech unicorns in India. So many of people in Malaysia or Southeast Asia may not have not heard about them,
Yeah.
but in India, like everyone knows who they are, right? It's a $2 billion unicorn that has raised funding from Mastercard, Temasek, PayPal, amongst the like of even Sequoia India,
Sequoia. Yeah.
and they are one of the largest payments company in India. So they have 500,000 merchant payment points. Their total payment volume is $30 billion, right? Probably close to Grab's valuation in terms of like the payment volume, right? Not the valuation of the business. But
Just
yeah,
a
so we
couple more billions, but you'll be almost there.
yeah, I think all these gazillion. I don't even know how many zeros there are. Anymore with
Uh,
with this.
Chen Chow
Uh,
knows like he's pretty good in maths apparently. So
oh, he knows it. Yeah, he knows it. And we're just super privileged, right? Because this is one of the rare, or maybe rare today, but not in the future, right? Where an
mm,
Indian company actually acquires a Southeast Asia business. I think that's number one, super rare.
mm,
Number
mm,
two is that Fave or KFit, as what Karamjit shared, was born in Kuala Lumpur, right? I mean, we started here,
yep,
in an office in PJ, near Bandar Utama. So you think about it, like humble years, 6 years ago, the birth of the company was here. And of course, some may argue once you expand to Southeast Asia, you need a presence in we need presence in Singapore because that's where all the money is, right?
Yeah.
And I know there's this debate around like, is Grab a Malaysian company? Is it a Singapore company? Regardless, I think it's a Southeast Asian company, right? Where
mm,
it was born as My Taxi, right?
yep,
Yeah.
In Petaling Jaya. And
yeah,
then,
Yep.
eventually was Grab. They took some Singaporean money, right, from Temasek and GIC and so on and so forth. But I think we should be proud, right, of where it began
yeah,
and the talent and getting to that product market fit. So personally, for me, whether Malaysia, Singapore, it's a Southeast Asian
yeah,
company.
sure,
It started here. Yeah, so
yep,
we are proud or privileged, to be one of the first companies in Malaysia to get an exit, Indian company. And we're going to take our Fave platform and roll it out in India as Fave India, right? So this is
Mm.
again unprecedented. There's no company I can think of that started in Malaysia or Southeast Asia, a consumer platform going to India, right, and trying to
yep,
launch
yep.
there. So huge challenge for us. Hopefully, hopefully we do this region proud, right?
So just a
And
bit
yeah,
of history lah. You guys are actually the second.
yeah,
Because if Suresh Tiru from Job Street was here, he would tell you that actually, very old school Mark Cheng actually expanded Job Street expanded
huh,
to
India,
India,
yeah,
yeah.
and they sent Suresh Tiru lah because hey, you look like you're Indian also, you go there lah. And Suresh
He's
Tiru
got the
told
Indian look lah. You have
he's
to
got the
you can't
Indian look.
deny,
So Suresh
with the
Tiru,
beard
if
and
you talk
all.
to him, Suresh Tiru told me that it is crazy to compete in India because they've got so
crazy.
many incredible entrepreneurs, right? It is
Yeah,
just a crazy market. And this is
Yeah,
Job Street that was already quite decent then, telling
yeah,
me it's just crazy to compete. So actually,
yeah,
historically, you all are the second. No other tech journalists will know this.
yeah.
Lucky my white beard, I remember this, I put this up. So you're the second to expand to India, but you are right. You are the first
Yeah,
acquisition lah, of
yeah.
a tech company, yeah, of an
so
internet company. Yeah.
So Joel Chen Chow, beware throughout the show. Karam likes to burst bubbles, lah. That's his favorite pastime job, lah. But anyway, we will leave that aside. Karam, you don't you were mentioning it to me that you don't think you were not so impressed with this Fave deal, right? Tell us a bit
No,
about your
actually, no,
concerns,
no,
and,
no,
and
no,
maybe you can
no, no.
ask Chen Chow and Joel what
It's
why you're not
correct.
so impressed by it. I
No,
was, I was like, yes, pretty good. Karam was like, no, no, no. Okay, Karam, tell us your concerns, and maybe Joel and Chen Chow, you can address it.
Yeah,
yeah, the word no, not to do it impress. Look, I have huge respect for these two young gentlemen, right, for what they're doing and what they're going to continue to do under the banner of Pine Labs, which is a
But
coup
it
for
was,
Pine
but
Labs,
to you
right?
it wasn't the preferred outcome, lah. Maybe that's the
Yeah,
better
yeah.
word
Oh no,
to
no.
use, lah.
I think
Yeah,
it is probably not the preferred outcome for Joel and Chen Chow also, right? You put heart and soul into this, like I said, and actually, if they, they talk about in Malaysia about we are losing companies to Malaysia, Indonesia, or Thailand, or Brunei. If Brunei had given Grab money, Grab would have been a Brunei company, right? wherever the money goes and you put your OHQ there lah. But they talk about Malaysia not playing in that game where companies need a substantial amount of money. And honestly, I feel that if the government wanted to make a statement that we are not going to back our companies which have shown that they're able to, I would have told Khazanah to put 50 million US dollars into Fave, right, and give you all that rocket boost and let you all work your magic further.
So
Because
maybe
track
Karam.
record, you guys are the safest people for us to bet taxpayers' money on. But
Okay,
they're sitting on
let's
their
ask
asses
Joel
and they're
and let's
scared.
ask Joel and Chen Chow lah. I mean, I mean, Karam thinks it's not a preferred option. Was it not a preferred option, or
Of course, it's not lah. Obviously,
I don't know.
So,
I mean, what do you say? I mean, guys.
Yeah, so I mean, I personally, I just start with putting what the options are, right? So I think there are three options for a startup. The first one is that they go huge, and you need to go huge, go public, right? So I think that's
Yep.
that's the Grab story. I think the second option is that you're part and parcel of an acquisition, right? And then you become part of a larger group, and
Yeah.
eventually the larger group is the first outcome, right? And then the third option essentially is somewhat like
Shutdown.
death, right? Death of a company, right? So to me personally, I think option one or two is a great option, right? Because regardless, if you think of a tech company today, it's not that it's not a typical. I mean, it's not a. I know the word like in Malaysia we used to call it Chinaman company, right? Or a traditional company where the shareholder or the founder owns 60% of the company, 80% of the company, right? It's not, and it takes 30 years to build, right? So if you look
Yeah.
at all tech companies today, at the end state, even if you look at Grab, as they're going
Yep.
public, the founders own a low single-digit percentage,
Yeah, very
right,
low,
of
yeah.
the company. So the company is actually a vehicle for investors, for the management team to realize a vision, right? It's not about holding ownership. It's not about
Yep.
making one person rich, right? But it's actually multiplying the impact. And in fact, I think what's important is actually social impact, right? How much impact can an organization bring to an industry or to an ecosystem? And that's actually what the future of companies are, right? Not one person trying to make everything, but actually
Okay.
it's an ownership of people. So the way whereby I see Fave, the second outcome, which is the path that we are on, is it's a great outcome, right? Because we are now part of a unicorn that's at some point it's going to go IPO. They've
Yeah.
also kind of like indicated that it is. So it's really not about Chen Chow or Joel owning like 100% of the company or 50% of the
No.
company. It's actually like we're all a company is just a collective group of people. We are trying to realize a vision, and how fast can we realize that vision? And so we would never think about launching Fave in India, the most populous, right, consumer
Yeah.
market in the world,
Chaotic.
without Pine Labs. Chaotic, chaotic, but we would never have thought about it.
Yep,
But today with Pine Labs, because they've got a huge presence there, then we are considering it. So to me, it's about impact. And I wouldn't say that one is better than another. It's just a path, right? That we have chosen. And ideally, you avoid the failure, right? Which is the third option. Which is I mean, a lot of startups, 95% of them would shut down, right,
Easily.
within
Yeah.
the first few years. Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to get to a couple of
Yep.
fans out there. Shashi says hi to Joel and Chen Chow, but not to you, Karam, or to me. So we don't get highs. Shaji says we have a lot to be proud of about this week, Fave and Grab. No matter what anyone says, both Malaysian DNA. So Karam, no matter what you say, Shaji is proud. But going back to your story, Joel. I mean, as you look back in your 5-year journey or 6 years journey with Fave, I mean, there must have been important moments in that journey where you may be wondering, maybe I could have done this better, or I could have changed things, or I wish this happened. What were maybe you can walk us through that a
Yeah,
little
no,
bit.
let Chen Chow take this.
And
Let
Chen
Chen
Chow,
Chow
Yeah,
take
Chen
this.
Chow should take this.
Let the brains of the outfit take
And
this question.
I want to just say this. I think Karam also may feel that you could have become an e-wallet and other things. I know you've expressed that before,
Yeah.
Karam. So and Karam, you butt in, but let Chen Chow have his piece a bit, okay? Butt in appropriately, Karam. Okay, Chen Chow, go for it, man.
Okay. Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, thanks for having me. Second time back into the Friday Tech Talk. Yeah, so I think that really appreciate this. And I think that maybe I'm going to add one point on just now, the
Yes.
earlier part first before going. So I think the other thing that I think just now we talk about this opportunity to go into India. This Fave, we have about 300 employees, of which
Right.
about 200 based in Malaysia. So this outcome they're going to be is that we're going to have 200 Malaysian employees based in Malaysia going to have a chance to have an opportunity to try launching something into India. Right? Of course, some will work very heavily into it, some will build partially into it.
Yeah.
But this exposure, it will give our people that now they have a first-hand look. Of course, we may get beaten up and we're going to try to come back up and whatnot, right? But this exposure would basically have a ripple effect in years to come for this ecosystem, right? And I think whether you look at whether Grab today and all those things, right? Eventually, what we want is build up this ecosystem where Malaysian people that have gone through this, whether Grab, Fave, or any of this, eventually go out and build multiples, right? That's how Silicon Valley was built upon as well.
Yeah.
So I think that's how I'm going to see it as an opportunity to try and go on, right? And I think going to your latest question on the missed opportunity or even e-wallet, I would say that there's lots of opportunities, what we can do and what we can't do, right? And I think a lot of time is that what is the unfair advantage? What we have a big chance to win? What play to our strength? And what we can't, right? And I think you look at Fave, we build up and we go through. Who plays in e-wallet today, right? Let's say take Malaysia market. Grab, Axiata Boost, Shopee, which is C, Shopee, Touch and Go, which is Alipay. All of them, what is their characteristic? All of them, their valuations of their parent company is more than 10 billion US dollar.
Yeah.
Right? So if you have a smaller outfit and go and play in that game, what can we play? Right? Yes. So what we need to do is, yes, we are playing in digital. What differentiate us? I think we have innovation, speed, and doing things that basically differentiate and build through. So I think that's how I see it. And I think a lot of times the opportunity is that opportunity will come and go. A lot of times, what can we grab and what can we build and what can we leverage? And more importantly, is creating value. Anything that we do that create value, whether for merchant, consumers, that will bring value, right? What can we make it easier, cheaper, better, faster?
Okay. And Joel, your thoughts similar?
I think, Roshan, one of the things that maybe people undervalue, right, is the word survival, right? I know even like you talk about billion-dollar companies and stuff. There has been many, like every single company or every startup would probably face a threat on survivability, even the largest ones, right, today.
Yeah.
And it's about adaptability and responding in times that are super tough. And once you are able to survive it, you become one of the last few, right, at the end of the race. So yes, I think when I kind of reflect on this journey, it's all about survivability, and it's it's the same, right, for all tech companies today.
Yep. And Karam, I know you have a lot of grilling to do with the two boys, but I've got a quick long quote from Andrew Wong Weng Hong, who says, "Hi Joel, I'm impressed on how you have set up Fave Company. Could you share with us how you managed to set up Fave? I'm also interested to join the e-commerce department with Fave." Okay, that's a job pitch after that.
Really long.
But I mean, just in terms of maybe very quickly, some secrets of your success in terms. I guess the essence of his long message is is there a secret to your success in building Fave and ultimately in enabling it to get acquired and become part of a bigger family? Is there any nuggets of wisdom that you can share in a very high level?
Yeah, so one of our key guiding principles, culture values, is this term called people equals to business. And I know, Roshan, you will love that, right? With building leaderonomics, how important it is for leaders, right, of the organization to bring success or failure to a company. So, I started my first company when I was in my early 20s. And it's been quite a journey, right? Like 15, 16 years of building tech companies. And I just really grateful and privileged that, they talk about tech companies having high turnovers, right? And people leaving tech companies. But when I look back at the founding team of Fave, I've actually worked with this group beyond Fave, right? In fact, even before that, whether it's Groupon or this other company that Kylie and I built with Says and Ref Asia, like Audra, our first employee, I've actually worked with her for 11 years. Anisha, who heads up our people team, I've worked with her since Groupon, like 2011. So it's 10 years. So they may have left the journey at some point. Like Anisha left in 2015 to join Maxis for 3 to 4 years. And just super privileged, she came back and now she's heading up our people team. So I think people equals to business. Like leaders is what makes a business successful. And that's where the adaptability and survivability is, right? When the leaders and people are 100% committed even through the tough times. And we had really tough times during COVID last year, April, May, where like all retail businesses were shut down. Our business was going through a 70% decline, right, for 1-2 months. But the team kind of hunkered down. We stuck through to it. We raised around And today we are up. We are hitting our best months, and it's only been because of the team, right? They've stuck together.
All right. More comments coming. Raymond Devadas says, absolute respect for what Joel and Chen Chow have done. It's about a company and vision taking a part to that will allow immediate market access to one of the largest consumer markets in India. I guess kudos, and Malaysia should be proud. So you got a lot of fans, guys. Looks like everyone's excited. So Grab is not the only thing that's grabbing the headlines. Fave is also quite a favorable. Look at that. I can pun, man. Look at
Not
that,
bad,
Karam.
not bad.
Not bad, no. Okay, but we're gonna take a very short break, and we'll be right back here. In the meantime, for those who have just joined us, we're talking to Joel Neoh and Chen Chow, co-founders, both founders of Fave, and for those who don't know, they've just been acquired by Pine Labs in India, and they'll be opening up Fave India shortly. So it's a very exciting journey ahead. In the meantime, check out if you're not Nicoling, make sure you're Nicoling. Let's take a quick Nicole break.
Woi, bro.
Apa dia?
Aku message kau 50 kali, tak balas.
Alah bro, aku
Apa
tak
ni?
ada time lah bro message. Aku sekarang tengah Nicole bro. Nicole lah itu dia in sekarang. Tengah tending tengah kacau.
Kau cakap apa? Apa tu?
Nicole, kau tak
Nicole?
tahu Nicole? Google kau tahu?
Ha?
Nicole kau tak tahu? Tak, Nicole app untuk belajar bro. Semua tengah belajar guna
Oh,
Nicole sekarang. CEO
ilmu.
semua tengah guna Nicole.
Share sikit lah.
Boleh bro, kau tengok macam ni bro.
Okey.
Kau kalau kau lembab, kau kena Nicole bro.
Memang aku lembab sikit sebenarnya.
Bro, kalau kau nak laju, kau nak top, kau nak jadi CEO, kau kena guna Nicole. Kau tahu kena pergi mana? Digital.dynamic.org. 200 je bro tahun.
Aku buat tu aku tak lembab dah.
Tak tahu bro capacity kau macam mana.
Oh,
Tapi aku
macam
aku
tu.
aku rasa Nicole ni boleh tolong kau lah bro.
Okey. Berapa?
RM200 je bro tahun.
Boleh lah duit raya pakai ya.
Selamba bro. Ni kau tengok ni bro. Cahaya bro, kau tengok ni. Ini daripada Howard bro. Power bro.
memang cantik.
Apa ni? Jangan ambil apanya.
Okey.
Aduh.
Sorry. Aku teruja sangat lah.
Ni tak apa kita tunggu sini.
Welcome back to Tech Talk Friday, and Karamjit Singh is here, and we've got two fantastic guests, Joel Neoh and Chen Chow from Fave, who have joined us. Lots of comments coming in from a whole bunch of people. So let's get Joel and Chen Chow back. Joel, Chen Chow, welcome back to Tech Talk Friday, and it's been great. So for those of you, again, I keep forgetting to make that call out and then get that, and then Nigesh kind of puts a fire under my belly. Again, I retired, so forgive me, guys. Nicole.app, for those who have not got it, go to this website, Nicole.app, and get your download of Nicole. Chen Chow, Joel, we're talking about Fave. We're talking about how exciting stuff has been for you guys. I know Karam has a ton of questions. Karam, what do you wanna?
Yeah, a ton and disappointment also. So I think we got to say this is a qualified success, because success would be if they had gone their own way. But Joel is being realistic. You're right. There are three options.
But Karam, to each
no,
man's
because
success is different, you know?
We are a nation that is hungry for validation of our entrepreneurial pizzazz, and we want a success. And by the way, not to forget that Ganesh Kumar Banga listed right on NASDAQ right in 2014. So we had that success, but people have forgotten about it, right? And we need another success now. So this is disappointing, because I thought they were promising. So, but Joel and Chen Chow, let's say this, right? Why, for Chen Chow then, maybe, why hasn't COVID worked for you all? Because it has been the great booster, right? Amplifier for all things digital. Why didn't it work for you? I know I've asked this to people, they've told me why, but I don't hear from you why it didn't give you that incredible boost where you were able to, you would have been able to raise funding from the market.
Yeah, so I think good question there, right? And I would say that if you look at it in the
Roshan, good question. Thank you, Chen Chow. You didn't get that from them. Excellent. Okay.
I told you I'm retired, right? So my questions are not so good, but it's okay.
Okay, sorry, Chen Chow, go ahead.
Yeah. So I would say that if you look at it, right? So I think there's a short run and a long term, right? So I think that what COVID brought is that in the short term, let's say offline businesses, some of the businesses have to close for certain days, right? Days, weeks, whatever, right? But if you look at longer run, ask ourselves, before COVID and today, how many of us how do we use money? Cash,
Mhm.
physical cash. We all use much less physical cash today.
Yep.
We all use digital. And I
Correct.
think that trend has moved very going on that way,
Accelerated.
right?
Yeah.
And like what Joel just now mentioned, today on an overall Fave group GMV, we transact more transactions today versus pre-COVID. During the COVID period, did we go down? Yes, we did
Of
go
course.
down. Yeah, we did go down significantly at a certain point. But over the period where it comes back up, it goes stronger, right? Does it take several months? Yes, it does. But I think that if you think on it, looking into the 6 months, 1 year, 2 years from today, and I think we were going to see, I think today with the vaccinations coming out, phase 2 launching next Monday, I think that like Singapore is way ahead in terms of
Yeah.
vaccination. I think people will go out there and the confidence will boost up, and I think the usage will continue to boost up. So I think that this basically built through, right? And this spirit as well has taught everyone on how to build adaptability. I think what Joe talked about survivability, adaptability. I think this COVID enabled our team all to learn how to adapt, and not just Fave. I think all the companies, right? And then today, if the government tomorrow suddenly come out and say that, hey, on Sunday let's lock down again, I think people
Yeah.
now know what to do, how to react, and
Yep.
that basically enable all of us to be a lot more resilient. And I think that will
Okay.
basically bring all of the companies go further, right? So maybe that's maybe how I see it.
Okay.
Yeah, no, but
I
so if what you're saying is right, hey Raymond, don't be so complimentary, Raymond. What is all these fellas congratulating you all? Come on, man. So okay, leave it to me now. So hey, by the way, I love these guys, right? But I'm being the disappointed patriotic Malaysian, and I know both of them are very patriotic without a doubt. But Chen Chow, what you said then, if that argument holds true, how come no bloody VC out there said yes, I agree with you, and here's some money to take it further, because you can further ride the upside, and the upside is going to be like a much more vertical curve, right? It makes sense that you should have been able to raise more funding. What? So tell me why, when the last few VCs declined to invest in you all, because 100% you would have gone and tried to raise further money, and they came back to say no. So tell me why they said no. I want to see from their eyes, right, or from their voices. If you can share with me.
Yeah.
Joel, you
Yeah.
or Chen Chow, either one of you can take this. I prefer to hear from Chen Chow.
Okay. Yeah. So I think that if you look at it, right, last year, when did we raise? So COVID happened in March. When did we raise our round?
July,
July
right?
2020. And
Yes.
our first interaction with Pine Labs actually happened after COVID has started. And actually, even until today, we actually haven't met them. Only AP, who is our MD for Southeast Asia, met Amrish, who is the CEO of Pine Labs, last week for the first time.
Oh,
Right? So Joe and me have not met them.
wow.
So the whole thing is done through that, right? And I think if you think of it, from March, April, we raised in July. I think the cycle, which means that April, May, June was the period they evaluate. And as we go through that, they sign on the check in July. And I think over the period, I think since July and now April is about 9 months. I think these 3 quarters we have worked with them, explored, and I think both ways. I think there's a lot of chemistry, vision, and I think that it's an option. I would say that yes, can we take more money? Yes, there are options. Have we got to profitability? We did that by December 2020. Have we hit our record month? We did that in December 2020. Do we have choice? We have. But I think the question mark to put there for everyone is that yes, can we raise more? Yes. But can we raise enough to be like Grab? It's a long tall order,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So it's not. So let's say tomorrow we can raise 20 million, 30 million, 50 million.
Okay.
Where will we get to? Right? You'll get to somewhere. But today, if you want to go to India, or maybe even China, or maybe even entire Southeast Asia, what is the leverage that we can do that can build upon? Right? I think that's where is all of us is a choice of journey. And I think in the end, it's a playing the field that we think that we have a chance to win the field and make an impact. So I think that's maybe my take. Maybe Joel, you want to add?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
and the sun
Wow.
is
Amazing.
shining. The sun is shining
Exactly.
brightly on Joel now. So maybe
Wow.
As the sun shines brightly,
The
Joel can
heavens, the heavens are
the heavens
shining
have
now.
opened
The
up.
heavens have given the heavens
It's
have
a beautiful.
answered. They are saying that we agree this is the right call by Joel and Chen Chow. My
I know.
goodness, man. I've got the shivers, man. Wow, awesome.
There should be a background sound right now.
Woo!
But
Oh,
Karamjit, you should.
Roshan, play some Bharatanatyam music now quickly.
Then you will jump into song and dance. We don't want to see that, man.
Okay,
Awesome.
Karamjit, keep going. Go with your questions. It's good. Good questions.
No, but
So
what do
okay,
you?
there's some audience who rebut Karam lah. So
Huh.
because yeah, there's Raymond who says, Karam, unfortunately, your definition of success differs from that of Joel's vision for the company. The success here is penetrating the huge market not many others may have achieved. Whereas Karam's definition is Malaysia Boleh, in terms of of being a local champion. Couple more comments. Of course, Raymond comes back with another congrats to counter Karam's first congrats. So he's like, Karam, I'm going to congratulate them too. And of course, Adeline Yee, who's is a big fan. She was just telling us, I'm such a big fan of Joel and Chen Chow. So there's a shout out to you guys. And question on India though, from Shaji is, India is nothing like Malaysia. What are your biggest fears about the challenges Fave may face in India? Sounds so poetic today. All right. So, what are some of the challenges that you think will happen in India?
Okay, Chen Chow can go for that. I'm going to just close the blind and I'll come back because
Okay,
I don't think you guys
All right.
can even see my face anymore.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So I think that in terms of India, yes, is it difficult? It's going to be difficult. And it's a 1.4 billion populations, and Roshan has disappeared.
Mike, just to put you can talk. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think that it's a huge population, and I will actually look at India not just even as a country; it's actually a continent, right?
Okay,
And
wow.
question is between us and Pine Labs, how far can we bring Fave brand in India, right? So I think, yeah. So of course, the fantastic grade will be 3,700 cities, if I'm not wrong, in India, everything. But yes, do we think we can do it? It's going to be tough. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy, but we're going to try and win one city at a time. If we can get it right in one city, two cities, then we can get it right in 10 cities, then maybe in 50 cities, 100 cities, and hopefully we can go across. I think, do we have a big hope, big vision? Yes. Do we think it have to be realistic on what we think we can achieve? Yeah, we have to build on. And I think that the potential of India is actually way bigger than, let's say, take Malaysia, right?
Oh yeah,
But
totally.
yeah, so I think that the fear is that, one, are we mentally prepared to take on and build into such a market? And whatever that works in Malaysia, many things would not work in India. We need to learn, unlearn, and really internalize, think, learn. Joe will likely going to speak Hindi, Tamil, and everything. I think, and really trying to understand that, right? And I think once COVID, we can travel a bit more. We'll go there and spend a lot more time. And I think even in India, whether in Mumbai versus Jaipur versus Delhi, each of them will be different. I think Joe and me have spent quite a bit of time during our Groupon days in India. So we have been there, done some bit, but back then we were looking in the peripheral, we get involved some bit, but we have never like fully done it. So I think this will be the chance there. And I think a lot of it is also not going to be any of us. I think we could definitely go leverage on the local talent there.
Sure,
of course, there could be opportunity for people from here to get involved in it, but we definitely need to hire a lot of great talents there and work together with them, leverage on Pine Labs, because Pine Labs has been there for 20 over years. They have already known a lot of merchants there. Like you think of all the big brands, whether Starbucks, whether McDonald's, all of them are using Pine Labs terminal. So they already have a pulse of the merchants. So now is how do we tap that and launch it to consumer and go through? So the answer will be actually synergize. They understand the merchant side, they understand the local market. We understand this model. We have tried it, what works, what doesn't work in 3 countries. And a lot of times, how do we take the 1 + 1 equal to 5, 10, 20?
Yeah.
That would be the synergy that we have to build.
And Karam, you can ask 1 or 2 more questions. Unfortunately, I'm back here. So with me comes the test the guest challenge, right? So that one unfortunately happened. So Chen Chow, Joel, get ready to be tested in quick succession. You have to answer very quick from your gut. So Karam, I'll leave you for your final question before we go into the test your guest challenge.
I got so many. You stay out for 10 minutes. Sorry, don't leave me alone. Hey, but Joel, I want you to answer the question that Chen Chow was answering, where I said that why didn't VCs want to invest in your? But it's fascinating to hear Chen Chow say that you could have taken money, but not to the extent. And nobody knows this, I think. So are you saying that you could have taken money from VCs, but you felt it wouldn't have been enough? Because then obviously if a VC wants to give you money and then it's a valuation, right? You can obviously get more from them if you give them more of the valuation. So was it that you couldn't find the right valuation and you decided to take this option then? Because if that is the case, it is still a very gutsy move, because you would have been thinking, oh, the marketing, we have failed and all that, right? Guys like Karam are going to jump on us and do his bhangra and all this. But so if that was the case, fascinating. But because Chen Chow seems to indicate that you could have taken money, but maybe not enough. So can you give your take on that? Oh, you're on mute. The most used word in the world last year. I got to use it.
And after 1 year, I still haven't figured out how to unmute myself. That's how fast of a learner I am. So aside from the Pine Labs option, we had other options as well, right?
Wow.
So typically, I think when it comes to financing, there are two options. The first option is a strategic option. The second option is a financial option.
Okay.
So means that financial is just pure money. Strategic, comes with value, right? And we decided to pick the option that was strategic instead. Since the round that we did 10 months ago, the strategic investor has made us an acquisition offer. And again, it's a choice, right? Whether we want to take it or not. And so we decided to take it because I think one of the guests earlier, they had a point there where our definition of success is about impact and how do we scale up this impact faster. So that's the path that we have chosen.
Okay, so fine. I just want to clear for the audience. So you're saying that you could have raised money where it was just money, but you decided to be strategic, right? And decided to go with them, even though it meant that. So, but the Fave brand is kept, and of course you all have equity, so you still have upside. And who knows, when they go for a listing, they may be, one of you may become the deputy CEO, right, of the group to show a real Asian face, right, for Pine. So interesting. So I didn't know that. So you had that option, but you turned the option of raising funding away because I guess you felt it was, but also I guess because the funding was not enough, right? Because Chen Chow was saying you could have raised X amount of money, but not enough, correct? And where could you have gone then?
Yeah, I think to set some context, when you say not enough, is because if you look at this payment space, people were raising hundreds of millions, if not billions. Yeah. So we thought that, it's okay. We can raise that money, but where does it get us to, right? So by picking a strategic option, raising the money also gets us into a new market. I think that became a no-brainer for us.
Okay. But I guess, but not really raising the money. But then why didn't your investors stay on? Would have made sense for like Kylie or whatever, right? Kylie doesn't need the money now, and he's long-term, and he's bullish on India. So why did some of them exit? Was that a condition of Pine Labs or what? Because I would have stayed on with that. Hey, I definitely would want to bet on Joel and Chen Chow, and now Pine Labs, I'll bet on all three of them. So why did they didn't have to, right? So explain that if you can.
Yeah, so I think the set context is that it's two different decisions at two different time frames, right? So, we had an option in July last year to take a financial investor money or strategic investor money. So at that point of time, we felt, let's take the strategic investor money because it also gives us a path to a new market. So that's July.
Okay.
And then that's April 2021, which is this month, in which then Pine Labs made an offer, for full acquisition of the company. And then when we spoke to our investors, like every single one of them unanimously agreed. So everybody needed to agree on the agreements. If not, this deal couldn't go through, right?
True.
So everyone kind of agreed that this is the best option for the company, and so that's a path that has led to today, right?
So, but Pine Labs made the offer on condition that they buy out the existing investors, right? That would have been their condition, right? Okay, understood.
Right.
Oh, interesting. Fine. It's good that I'm clear on that. Now, just one more question before Roshan jumps in, and unfortunately we're using his platform so he can kick me out, So I got to learn the game. You got to control the platform, man.
Don't invite Roshan back again, yeah?
No. So I guess, one of the things that you all did in 2019, which I was very excited about, was this Growth Malaysia, right? And you also said it made very good sense. But why has it struggled to be a catalyst for SMEs to go digital? And after that, just your take on what you feel is the strengths and weaknesses of our startup ecosystem, because we obviously need to plug that because we've got this goal of 5,000, startups by 2025, right?
Yeah. So I think that Growth Malaysia essentially was pulling together a collaboration of
Yes.
people who has the same mindset to help businesses, SMEs go digital. So through that program that we did, we actually strike a partnership with Maybank, right, to kind of
Yep.
help SMEs with financing. We partner up with Grab, so now you can see like
Yes.
GrabPay is actually a funding source in the Fave app. I think we still have a long way to go. I think the target there was 100,000 merchants.
Yes.
Today we are at 40,000 merchants. So I think we're still working on it. Personally, I would feel like we should execute faster. So I think the kind of challenge goes on. I think the journey continues. So we're going to work on it.
Work on it lah. Okay, because I
Yeah.
think there's huge upside. Just Maybank's SME customer
Yep.
base is a gold mine, right? So you've already got relationships. So that is very disappointing for me. I think somehow you all couldn't work together. Whatever. Like I said, just keep going. I'm sure that outline, the collaboration is still there, right? And you just need to plug away at it lah. Okay.
Yep.
Then the last
Yep.
question before Roshan comes in. Yeah. Well, oh, he's already here. Goodness me, just can't keep the man away lah. The Malaysian startup ecosystem, which Roshan also is a part of, what do you feel? Because you guys are so intimately involved in growing it also. What do you feel are our weaknesses and our strengths? And then when there are weaknesses, you realize, have you realized something that can be done to overcome that weakness? You may not have the answer, fine, but I'm just want to know strength, weaknesses.
Okay, Chen Chow, go for it.
Okay, man.
Okay. Yeah. So I think the strength of the Malaysian ecosystem is I think that people are very united and connected. And I say united in the sense that people are actually supporting each other, be there for each other. I think be there to guide each other. So I think that's a positive side, right? I think if you think on it, I think the strength
That's
is
great.
where.
And by the way, Devadasan is one example, right? Because Raymond Devadas, he totally sees the positive side of what y'all are doing. So excellent. Okay.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, and I would say that in terms of maybe I won't call it weakness, but I think the potential to build on, right? The gap that we can build on, I think is that I think if you think on it, just now we talk about there are a lot of startups that can start. I think starting is not a challenge in Malaysia. I think the challenge is how do you really scale up, right? And I think when we say scale up is to what stage that we can build upon, right? And whether to the point where like Grab kind of stage or hit a unicorn or at where Fave is or at the hit a Series A, at what level, right? And I think that then that part has a few aspects, right? I think one is that the know-how, right? The capability, experience, know-how to build. The second is, I would say, the resilience and the resilience part of as well, right? Because it's going to be a lot of ups and downs. So I think the resilience bit, how do we be able to go through? And how much winning big means to us, right? I think and of course, winning big is also very different. Different people have a different definition of what is big, right? So I think that's the second part that I think, and I think of course the talent base, right? How we be able to pull different talent base that are coming together to drive that. But I think that the as this kind of things happening, right? Whether like let's say Grab as they go IPO, whether Fave, and I think we have a lot of great company, Custom, Aerodyne, and all those things that building upon. I think all this will basically create the talent pool and the potential future founders, potential leadership teams that eventually will build through. So I think that is going to go through, and I think each of these will basically
build on each other,
build on, right? And I think that's where the journey. I think Silicon Valley was not built in a few years. Even China ecosystem is not built over a few years.
Yep. And Joel, your take on that? If you have a couple of thoughts.
I don't know. Chen Chow just
Summarized
struck it on the nail. I think there are many ways to look at the startup ecosystem. The most common way, generally people look at it is the consumer market, right? Because you are a consumer, I'm a consumer. We try to build apps or platform for consumers. Unfortunately, now I start with a weakness, right? Malaysia is not the largest consumer population in Southeast Asia. So the largest consumer population is Indonesia, right? So you see that Indonesian startups are getting funding, right? Investors are there, huge, big check sizes is all in Indonesia. But Malaysia is a good launch base. If you look at it, there's actually quite a lot of companies that have launched from here or started up from here, whether it's in MyTaxi then or iProperty or even JobStreet, right? Fave as well. We started here and then we start to build a regional business from here. But I also want to highlight that we shouldn't discount non-consumer based companies, right? So like, for example, Aerodyne is not a consumer-based company, right? It's actually a global company that's based here. And I actually think the more of these types of companies are going to come up from Malaysia, right? Because
the B2B ones are.
B2B ones, right? It's like,
Yeah.
very specific technology that we have. Sometimes I wonder why we don't have, more agri-tech companies. I mean,
Yeah.
we are an agriculture country, man. I mean,
True.
like we should be damn good at that because
Yeah.
we are one of the biggest exporters for so many products, right? Like,
Yeah.
back then, even when I was learning, history or, geography back then, or, like it's we are big export countries, right? For things like this. So actually, it's not history or geography; it's more like economics, right?
Yeah.
Economics lah and geography
Your
lah.
his
Yeah.
Your farm
Joel
and your
Joel
coconut.
Joel basically forgot the entire school so he's mixed up
Yeah,
all the subjects. But that's okay. That's okay. If
Para
you can build a
Meswara,
company like Fave, we forgive
Para
you.
Meswara, yeah.
Yeah.
They've
No, because
rewritten the history books.
I
Okay,
think
let's
last point, right?
we yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Just last point before I wrap up. So, like, I spent a week in New Zealand, like about 4 years ago, right?
Oh, you just went to mute. You just
You
went to
muted
mute.
yourself, Joel.
Okay.
Your
Okay,
hands moving.
we lost you at the part
No,
where
no,
you
he's
said
here.
you went to New Zealand and you were hanging out with your buddy Edmund Santara at his palace there.
Oh, you muted yourself again. Oop, I think we have
Some
No, it should
technical
be okay.
difficulty.
that's all right. Let me see if he's
okay,
back. Joel, are you good? You're still muted? Nope. All right,
it's the
no
Bluetooth
worries.
headset. Oh, the headset.
Yeah, it's the headset. Okay. All right, no worries. Joel, we'll get Joel sorted out. But while Joel is having fun, trying to figure out how to get voice, because Karam has muted him after all his crazy questions. Chen Chow, you got to do the test the guest challenge, and you know how this works, right? So quickly, very fast, right? So Chen Chow, question number 1: What could you go without for 72 hours? Sleep or food? Which one you prefer?
Food.
Wow, well done. Okay. Question 2: If you could meet someone from the past, who would it be?
Good question.
Audrey Hepburn, right?
Uh,
Come on, Joel, you can do this. We're gunning for you.
Good question.
Sorry, Chen
yeah.
Chow. I'm talking to Chen Chow. I'm saying Joel.
Maybe I'll say Tuku Abraman.
Tunku Araman.
Wow,
All right, fantastic. What is the one thing you can't live without?
I think my phone.
Really? Okay. Name one person you'd like to see on this show.
I want Karamjit Singh to be the one being interviewed. Not the one interviewing.
Let's do that. But then he'll talk so much and nobody can ask except maybe 2 questions at the most.
All the headphones will blow. Joel is blaming me for
you know,
killing
right? I mean, you ask Karam one question, you get the answers to about 15, including the ones you don't want to know, right? So okay, never mind. That we'll work on the interview for Karam. And final one, I don't. Hey, producer, get better questions lah. What is your favorite question? I don't know what this means. Okay, but what is your favorite question you like to ask?
Question you've been asked? What's the best question you've been asked?
Yeah, I think I like a lot of Karam questions, to be honest, right? So I think the question of just now whether COVID accelerated, muted, or whether we should take investment money, is this a great deal or not? So I think a lot of those questions where it's not a straightforward answer, yes, no, or whatnot, right? And it's something I think.
Chen Chow, you really know how to be invited again to the show. Ampu, you butter Karam upside down. Well done. Okay, never mind. So Karam, you surprisingly you can ask good questions. Okay, we'll keep you on as the host, right? So that works, and I'll exit myself. Okay, Chen Chow, same thing. 5 questions, quick round. It'll be different questions, right? Okay.
Joel,
so
not Chen Chow.
Joel. See, I'm mixing up people. Joel, what is your favorite social media platform? Oh, are we unmuted? Is it still muted? Oh, you're still muted, Joel. You're out. I can't. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. So we can't. Okay. But darn. Okay. Because I got a really good question for Joel. We can't. So Joel, maybe what we can do is we can maybe you can quickly exit the studio and get back, and maybe that will work. Try that, Joel. See if you can exit the studio and come back. We'll get you in a bit. So okay, while we sort out Joel and we do the final piece for Joel, Chen Chow, I want to just ask you, tell us a bit about your final thoughts, right? I mean, if you were to give advice, and if you were to leave us with a final thought for today, It can be Fave related, it can be personal, it can be anything. What sort of final thoughts would you leave us with as we close out today?
Yeah. So I would say that I think think of your why of you building this startup journey, right? I think because all of us have lots of options, right? We can do so many other things. And we all know that startup journey is not the most relaxing, easiest and everything, right? We
True.
all make a choice to go in there. So I think a lot of times go back to that why. Why you're going to sacrifice everything, right? Startup is not the way to earn the most money. Startup is not the way to have the most time. Startup is not the way to get the most hair or anything, right? But we all have that choice, and I think we all have the choice and go on this journey. So I think a lot of time is remembering that, and I think as we then build up the team, rally the troop, is how do we see where the not true north or where the direction we want to head towards, and along the way there will
Fantastic.
be different hiccups. How do we go around and I think enjoy the journey and not just enjoy the destination. The destination of being a unicorn, the destination of hitting a M&A, the destination of whatever, right? That is just a destination. But I
Wow,
think what
Chen
is
Chow.
most worthwhile is actually the journey, ups, down, going through that. That's, I think, eventually, if you look back, let's say 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, we're reflecting back at this 6 years that we have built through this, or maybe longer, 10 years. 10 years ago was the first day that I worked with Joe. So I joined as an employee of Groupon Malaysia, April 16,
Okay.
2011. And it's a 10 years anniversary, right? Day one.
Wow.
So if you reflect back that, right, and that journey, right, and I still remember back then, Joe told me before I joined him at the time, was he just sold his company to Groupon, right? And then I was like, but he told me that what he can promise me is a learning journey, learning experience, and great learning curve. And at that time when I joined him, I've never managed anyone. I was basically sit there, bookworm, doing work and do some calculation thinking, right? But I think the last 10 years have given me to think about, reflect, and driving different things and go through all sorts of challenges. And I think this
Well,
journey is where we'll build through.
well said, Chen Chow. And Joel also
Hello.
forgot to mention that you will lose a bit of your hair, you'll be stressed up, and a couple other things. But we'll leave that aside, and we'll go back to Joel in the Test the Guest challenge. So Joel,
Oh, can you guys hear
very
me, Bobby?
quickly.
Yes,
Yes, we
can.
can.
Oh, I'm back.
Perfect. Okay. So Joel,
Karam
you
just
very,
sabotaged my Bluetooth,
I
That's
think
like,
so, I think so,
yeah, totally. I
He
definitely knew it's him.
he does that all the time, He does that to guess. He just wants to talk, he doesn't want other people to be heard, Okay. Anyway,
Yeah.
what is your favorite social media platform?
Oh man, it's got to be TikTok, man. It's so addictive.
All right. Fantastic.
But I think the important thing is like keeping up with times, right? So TikTok,
Yep.
Clubhouse. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And describe your dream for Fave India, if you have a dream for them.
I think make a dent. 1.5 over billion consumers. Hopefully make a dent from Southeast Asia.
Okay. And if you could go back in time, what would you do differently?
I would have met Chen Chow earlier. It would have eased my earlier years. He's amazing.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
There you go, man. What a partnership, right? And this is one important question. Name your first celebrity crush, even if it's Karam, it's okay.
Yeah, it's definitely you, Roshan. I didn't tell you this before, but I met you in my early days. I thought, wow, this guy. No, because you saw your company to the star back then, I remember it's while it did, it made a huge difference, right? Kylie and I, we talked about it. Wow, startup can be acquired by a larger company. Maybe there's hope, right, for us. So yeah, you may not have realized it, but it impacted a lot of founders at the early stage.
Yep. And I think, I enjoyed we were sit both on the Isaac
Yep.
board for a number of years. So I enjoyed when you came
Yep.
over every month or so to Liron Mix to hang out and inspire our
Yep.
guys also. So fantastic. Thanks for that. And last final question: would you be open to replacing Karam as the new Tech Talk host?
Only if I'm doing it with you, and Karam doesn't come back.
Oh, there you go, Karam. Okay. All right, Joel. I have to thanks for a bit lightheartedness, but before we get to Karam's final thought, Joel, if you can be like how Chen Chow was almost like Aristotle, standing on a hill in
Buddha, he's Buddha,
Athens,
actually.
and but he was like standing on a hill in Athens and giving that eulogy and inspiring all of us. But can you give us one of yours, please, and inspire Tech Talk viewers with your final thoughts?
No, it's very hard to beat Buddha, So I'm just going to go more practical, right? Which is, if you're building a startup, and a great startup, right, and great potential, and if you need some help, you need some investment help, reach out to Chen Chow and I, right? and we've obviously exited from this first phase. We're going to go on to the next phase, but
Right.
we are looking to invest in Malaysian startups, and help them to take the next level. So I think that's something I look forward to.
Wow, looking. I mean, that's and so any startups, I think you've got one guy comments who wants to work for you guys. So maybe we'll forward him out to you guys also.
I think
Final thoughts.
I also want to work with them now. If Joel can promise me a learning journey, that's what I want, man. Because the Sikhs are learners, seekers of knowledge, man. I want to come and join
Yeah, but
you guys, man. And then,
Karam,
because you take my place, Tech Talk, I'll go and just join and work with Chen Chow lah. Be one of his staff.
Yeah, Karam will be the first one that we ship to India.
there you go, Karam. Fave India leader.
Next
There
slide.
you go, man. You'll be the
Hey.
Suresh Tiru of Job Street in 20 years when
No,
Fave,
yeah.
when
Actually,
Thailand
you're
gets
right.
sold for
20 years later, the Malaysians there send somebody else back to India. It's another Indian flirt, but this time it looks only same alike.
okay,
Hey,
Karam.
seriously,
It's,
you all
uh,
send
it's
me.
been a-
First thing I'll
it's
do,
been
I'll
a-
go to the river Ganges. Okay, I'll go to river Ganges and just soak in there and stream it live, say, okay, the Fave guy from Malaysia is here. Then we'll go super viral, man.
All right, so Karam, your final thoughts as we
Okay,
wrap
okay.
up today's episode.
Okay.
It's been a lot of insights, I think, personally from Joel and Chen Chow. Thank you so much, guys. And Joel, sorry that Karam mucked up your Bluetooth. It happens like that. But Karam, you want to wrap up by sharing us some of your insights that you've learned from today and what our viewers can take away from today's show.
No, I think every viewer by now should be on their phones already messaging their contact. Hey guys, Joel and CC said they want to invest in Malaysian startups, right? Go and meet up with them. And fantastic that you're also publicly saying this. Awesome, which I knew you all would do. I think it's just amazing what Chen Chow spoke about Joel, right? So, and that's one of the reasons why I was disappointed, because Joel is one of those rare guys who's an amazing leader also. So those 300 people, a lot of them are A talent. And I can tell you they're loyal to you, Joel and Chen Chow, because I was just with somebody over lunch and he said he was trying to get some of your people to join him. And I won't tell you which department. And they said that, no, they want to give this a chance, And I say, wow, how crazy is that, right? So that's why I say, wow, these Pine Lab guys don't know how lucky they are, So it's amazing. They've just superpowered their organization. But then on the downside, despite you ticking all the right boxes, somehow couldn't scale this enough to be the unicorn. So disappointing, sobering. But you guys have so many lessons you can share with everyone else out there. And I really hope that besides just investing, you'll open up your time, right? Create one more hour in the day where you have 25 hours and give that to whoever wants to come and talk to you all. They may annoy you all, they may say stupid things, but see as many people as possible and just inspire them. Because just like Roshan managed to inspire you guys, right? Maybe I think you'll inspire many people, and that'll be your intangible boost to the ecosystem. And my final thought is on that a tip for both of you. For India, when you go to Punjab, no matter what, every conversation you got to say chakade, okay? They will love you all for it. And then you got to learn the Bhangra, so you got to just learn to do this, okay? Okay, and you do very well. Northern India, you'll conquer Northern India.
Well, thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate your time. A really, really insightful conversation. And I think, if you want to take up Karam on that, maybe we should start, since I'm retired from Tech Talk, maybe we can do lessons learned from Fave podcast and LinkedIn series with Joel and Chen Chow, right? So, I mean, we can launch that. So thanks again, everyone. You've been watching Tech Talk Friday. It's been a fabulous Friday with Joel Neoh from Fave and Yeoh Chen Chow from Fave also. Goodbye. We will see you next Friday, same time, same place. Without me, Nigesh Arman will be back together with Karamjit Singh. Have a great weekend. Wish you all the best. And for those who are celebrating Ramadan, happy Berbuka today and for the rest of the